he has been very good. Especially, I love whenever he talks about jokes. He's I can tell you the best joke telling guy in our Toastmasters team. The first day, for the first session, he was the first one to come up and give a very good joke. I still remember it is Indian and a Chinese talking over the phone. So I invite, and the topic he has chosen is public-private partnerships, and I invite Sumit for this one. Thank
you. Each and every penny of your hard-earned money is taxed upon and put into a booty called as tax revenues. And in principle, these tax revenues should be used for the betterment of the infrastructure of the country, to make sure that the air we breathe is cleaner, that the water we drink is purer, the roads that we ride on are smoother, and to make sure that you have power at your home for 24 hours a day. How would you feel if your hard-earned money is not put to the best use? Sad, angry, disillusioned? Sure. Well, my topic of today picks up one such scheme or tool called as the public-private partnerships, via which the government channelizes some of this money and, along with the private funds, create an infrastructure called as a public-private partnership for the betterment of the society. So first things first, let's start by understanding what a public-private partnership is and why is it so important in the current Indian economic context. So the main idea for a public-private partnership is to make sure that there is an influx of private money into the system which complements the public money and create a structure which is equitable. By equitable, I mean it is beneficial to the private player in the sense that he makes profits out of that, and at the same point, the interests of the consumer are safeguarded by the service that he is providing. Now let's look at why is this important in the current Indian context. We are a country of 120 crores and we have got development needs beyond the wildest of imaginations. According to a survey by Planning Commission of India, we are going to be needing $1 trillion of infrastructure funds over the period of next 5 years to meet our development needs. Now we are talking of 20 to 25 Lehman Brothers out here, and one Lehman Brothers crash caused an economic havoc in the last year. So you can very well imagine what we are talking about here. And that's just infrastructure. We require money in power, telecom, mining, petroleum, education, healthcare and whatnot. So we are talking about funds in the tunes of $2 trillion over the period of next 5 years, and obviously government doesn't have that. Which makes the public-private partnership imperative in the current economic context. The government not only benefits from the finances that a private party provides, but also benefits from its execution and the technical capabilities. Now it's got to be a win-win situation. The private party should benefit and the public should have the better service as well. Come on, you can't create an airport and keep levying UDFs and LDFs for the unlimited period of time. That's not going to work. It's got to be win-win. So now that we have got a reasonable understanding of a public-private partnership and why it is important in the current economic context, let's look at some of the problems that we are facing with regards to the public-private partnerships in India. Number one, no points for guessing, politics. So what happens is politics in India is all pervasive. You've got politics here and politics there. So often what happens is the bidding process is marred completely by politics. The bids are often allocated to the less competent, less competitive private players because of the vested interests of the political parties and corruption. And that obviously results in increased cost of the services, the increased cost of the projects, thereby affecting the consumers as a whole, which we are. Second, again no points for guessing, politics again. Often what happens is retired bureaucrats are staffed to regulate these projects. And what happens is they are ill-equipped to handle the sophisticated regulation that is required for financial projects of such high economic value. As a result of which, again what happens is the private players take public for a ride. They charge you for services at their own free will. For example, charging toll tax that they want. For example, maybe for a metro project, charging the ticket, setting the ticket price at what they want, and we are affected. Point number C out here is the sustained influx of funds during the economic crisis. So what happens is over-reliance on PPP is in itself a problem, especially during economic crisis when there is credit squeeze. If a country relies overly on PPP, what happens is when the funds are not there because of the credit squeeze, the development process in itself is deterred if the company is not very well prepared for such eventualities. Now that we know what are some of the issues that we are facing in our Indian context, let's look at what we can do, or what are the major points that can make public-private partnerships more effective in India. Number one, influx of professionalism in the bidding process. Now, bidding process is one of the key processes for allocating public-private partnership projects. So what happens is you should have professionalism in terms of timelines. You should have done a lot of groundwork before the project is allocated, which means, say it's a metro project or a road project, the land acquisition should have been done before you have floated the bid, because this way the player who is involved, he knows what lies ahead and there is a lot of clarity and certainty, and this results in a more competitive project and which can be operated at a less cost. Point number two, invite global players or foreign players, because the chances are that they are going to be very less affected by the politics of the things, the local politics. Point number C, revenue model. Now the revenue model should be designed in such a way that the private player is kept engaged for a period of 15 to 20 years. He derives financial benefits from the money that the user pays him for the service of the period of 15 to 20 years. Say ticket for the metro prices, say ticket for the toll tax on the roads. That keeps him engaged and gives him and mandates that he provides a better and sustained quality of service over a long period of time. Last but not the least, we should have independent regulators who got to make sure that the user is not charged disproportionate amount of money for the service that the private player is providing. To sum it up, I would say public-private partnership is the art and the science of managing and making sure that we have got a framework which is equitable, which is benefitable to both the private party as well as the consumer as a whole. And if professionalism is infused and politics kept separated, it's one of the strongest tools to keep our country and the society ahead in the 21st century. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.